This original WSRE presentation is made possible by viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Pensacola State Today. I'm your host, Drexel Gilbert. So glad that you have joined us today. Coming up on this edition of Pensacola State Today, hands-on learning that takes students from the classroom to the workforce. We'll explore PSC's applied technology programs. It takes a lot of people and programs to make it all happen at PSC. One of the most important components is the Pensacola State College Foundation. We'll tell you about it and how you can be a part of this success story. College President Dr. Ed Meadows is in the studio with exciting news about what's happening at PSC. And education, the arts, and community join hands in a super way to help feed the hungry. There are, of course, many reasons to go to school and gain an education, but perhaps the most popular reason to go to school and gain an education is so that you can take that education out of the classroom and into the world where you can find a job and earn your way. And the Department of Applied Technology at Pensacola State College is a great place to start to be able to do that. And here to talk with us today about this department and about applied technology are Danny Steele, who is the Director of Applied Technology, and also Mike Cannon, who is a professor and also the program coordinator. And gentlemen, welcome to our show today.
Thank you very much, Drexel. I appreciate being here.
We are so glad that you are here. So let's start with you, Danny, and I want you to tell me about the program and how it is meeting the needs of those who are in the program first, the students, and then also how it's meeting the needs of the community.
Let me give you a little broader spectrum up front. Under the Applied Technology umbrella, we have the Computer Science Department, which has its own offerings for the community. We have the Engineering Tech programs, which we're going to spend more time talking about in a little bit. And we have the Information Tech programs right now, which one of our front runners is cyber forensics.
Okay, and so with these programs, what kind of job opportunities would the students going through the programs find in our area or perhaps out?
One of the things that we work hard to do is through our advisory councils is to coordinate and communicate with the potential employers, both establishing co-op programs and making a direct connection in two ways. One is to understand what the students need to know in order to gain employment with them, and also what basically what students need to know as far as getting with a company. What is their goal? One other thing I'd like to add. Pensacola State has done a wonderful thing on their website. They've created a button on the bottom right that's called Career Coach. So for students that want to explore further, those things that as far as careers, jobs, local industries, dollar amounts, salaries they can make, I highly recommend they go there. They can answer a lot of those questions there. We can talk more about the programs.
Okay, good. Now, you talked about some of the places that would hire these students, that they would go out to some of these companies. Can you give us some examples of places in Northwest Florida and say South Alabama that might hire students that have this associate's degree or the technical certificate?
Like we talked a little earlier, I haven't been here all that long, although I could answer that. I'm going to let Mike answer that question.
Good, Mike.
Well, in my area of specialization, mechanical design and fabrication, it's a degree in which students are learning skills in metalworking, metal processing, CNC programming, 3D and 2D design, and a lot of the CNC machining fabrication companies such as BF Goodrich Aerospace and Foley, Mercury Machining in Pensacola, Production Metal Stampings in Milton. I've had owners of those companies take the courses and expand their companies. We have an open house every fall and spring, and we have company owners from as far as Panama City and as far west as Mobile come to the open house to meet students for potential internship type opportunities.
Let's talk a little bit. I know we have video of what takes place in the classroom, so let's talk about that. There's some hands-on that goes in there. It's not just sitting there looking at a textbook, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Tell us about that.
It's mostly hands-on. You can listen to someone talk about something for so long. This is a college program, so there's demanding homework. They have opportunities to have the software programs to actually use in the classroom at home use. So with that in mind, my lectures are a lecture. It's a presentation, strictly focused on the topic at hand for those applications. And I haven't forgotten what it's like to be in the classroom. I try to keep them at 45 minutes or less. And so we can actually get out to the shop and actually learn what we're trying to do. So hands-on is extremely important. Yeah.
Mike, isn't one of the things we're learning from the advisory committees, advisory councils, are that certifications are important? What do you think about that?
Absolutely. Certifications, we call them college credit certificates, are extremely important because it enables us to offer a quick track training program where a student can get experience and get the skills to start working in 1 or 2 semesters, get a job, and then come back and finish their AS degree in the programs.
Okay, now I don't know which of you gentlemen would like to take this question, but as a student, potential student might be watching this and saying, yes, that's a program, that's a career I might choose to go for. What kind of money can I earn? What are the salaries that we're looking at here?
I'll let you answer the first part. I'll take the other part.
Well, we have to sometimes start at the bottom. Your, excuse the pun, but your broom is your best friend, entry level. But we are learning skills that go above and beyond what students will be required to do on entry-level positions. Based on how well you do in the program and the courses, we've seen entry-level opportunities from $10 to $18 an hour based on how well you go through that interviewing process.
And that's not a bad hourly
It's
wage
not.
for an entry-level position.
Yes.
And Danny, you wanted to follow up on that?
Our job is to get them in the door. Our job is to get them the certificates, the education, the experience, and the verbal knowledge. Because every field you go into, you've got to talk the talk. If you don't know what the words mean in CNC or in engineering tech, if you don't know what the words mean, you're not going to impress anybody. So we really focus on giving them those foundational skills.
And there are 2 end results for this program, or correct me if I'm wrong on that. You have the associate's degree, but you also have the technical certificate. Anything you want to talk about that in terms of the difference of the 2?
I'll let you address it, and I'm going to address the MSSC.
Well, thank you.
Right.
The certificates are something that we can, a potential student can come in and just learn that technology, that craft to go get a job in a 1 or 2 semester format.
So that's a fast track to getting to getting a job, to getting into the workforce.
Absolutely. That's what it's for. It's a 12 credit certificate. And you can finish it in 1 or 2 semesters very easily. Courses fill up quick. So if we try to get them into the courses, if they can't, it may take them 2 semesters just for the availability process.
All right, we're running close on time, and you wanted to follow up on that, Danny.
One of the things we've learned from the Northwest Florida Manufacturers Association is the value of a certificate in particular, and that's the Manufacturers Skills Standards Council Certified Production Technician, often referred to as the CPT. And we're incorporating or embedding those into our programs.
Okay, well, Mike Cannon and Danny Steele, thank you so much for being here today to talk to us about the programs of applied technology at Pensacola State College. You know, we didn't even scratch the surface here, so somewhere down the line, would you like to come back and talk with us again?
I would love to. Thank you.
Super.
Right,
We'd like
you.
to have you back. Thank you. And we will be back right after this. It takes a lot of people acting both as individuals and corporately to make things happen on a campus as large and as active and as engaged in the community as Pensacola State College is. And one of the most important components of that puzzle is the Pensacola State College Foundation. And joining us in the studio today to talk with us about this are Aaron West, who is the Executive Director of the Pensacola State College Foundation, and also Mike Wiggins, who is a member of the Board of Governors. And gentlemen, welcome very much to our program today.
Thank you for having us.
We're glad that you're here. First of all, let's just get the nuts and bolts out of the way up front and in the beginning and talk to us about, just tell us, what is the Pensacola State College Foundation? Aaron, do you want to take that one?
Certainly. It's, you know, every college has to have a 501c3, a nonprofit that's actually the gift receiving organization. So we're the operation that receives any gift for the college on behalf of students and programs.
Okay, and so why does Pensacola State College need something like this foundation?
Well, there are really all kinds of needs. I think probably the one that most people relate to is the scholarship function. Pensacola State College is a great institution, and it's not just folks coming from high school going to college. We have adults, we have people who are training for the workforce. We do have first-time students. They're the first person in their family to ever go to college. So it's a broad spectrum of students at Pensacola State College, many of whom need financial help, and many of those people come to our foundation for that help.
Who runs the foundation?
Well, Aaron is our executive director,
Right.
and Aaron has been there about a year. And I'll have to tell you, we are very fortunate to have him on board. He has done an outstanding job. We also have a terrific board of directors who help guide our policy of the foundation. And it is a broad spectrum of folks throughout our community, business people, people with nonprofits, retired folks, younger people. It's a great group of people who look at the foundation, make policies, then Aaron implements those policies.
And I would add this, our board of directors is a group that understands the needs of our community. It's made up of those individuals that understand the needs of our community and then also understand the needs or how the college can act on those needs and can sort of answer those needs and provide for our community.
Okay, playing off of that, let's on the word needs. Pensacola State College has been recognized for its low tuition rates. Right. So the question might come up, that being the case, why is there still a need for scholarships assistance?
Well, there's a really large portion of our population that we would consider self-sustaining. And so self-sustaining are maybe single parents that have children at home. A lot of our population, a great majority, is working population. So even though they are going to school and maybe working, they also have so many other things that are happening at home that they need some additional assistance. So that's where the foundation steps in and is able to provide for those. And as Mike said, I think Pensacola State College has somewhere around 45% of our population that is first generation, so first in their family ever to be brave enough to go to college. But many of those don't have the resources that they need in order to pay for it. And that's where we're able to help and raise some money to do it.
And some people look at a scholarship and say, oh, you're paying their entire expense for college. Well, not necessarily true. As Aaron said, some of these folks, if you just have a little bit of money, I'm talking about $200, $500, $1,000, makes the difference as to whether they're going to go to college or not go to college. And so that's what the foundation does. That information is analyzed and the deserving students get those funds and it changes their lives.
And Mike, you've been involved with this foundation for quite a while, and I know that you've seen some stories of students who have applied for, received the scholarships, been able to further their education and go out in the world and do something that maybe they couldn't have done otherwise. So what does it mean in terms of what does this mean for the community to contribute?
To me, it means everything for the community. It helps us economically. It helps families who may be not able to support themselves in the way they want to be, to now be able to go get work and to be trained. We on the foundation, many times at our board meetings, will have some of these students come in and tell us about their experiences with the scholarship money that they had and what a difference it made in their lives. And Drexel, they are unbelievably compelling stories. And it just says, this is making a difference in this family, and we need to keep this up and help our foundation grow so we can even help more people.
And Dr. Meadows and I frequently talk about on this program the importance of Pensacola State College being not just an island that sits in this part of town, but being a part of the community. And this is another way that the college is able to do that.
Absolutely. And I would say the foundation is also not an island on Pensacola State College. We are part of the college, and some people don't quite understand that relationship. We have a great opportunity as the foundation to link the community needs with what the college is able to provide. And so, we're able to go out into our community. Pensacola State College is such a force for workforce development. At the foundation, myself and the board, we have an opportunity to where we're interacting with people in our community. We get to hear what's happening, what needs there are, and we get to bring those back to the college. So while the college is not an island, the foundation is not an island either within the college, and both so integral into workforce development, economic development issues in Pensacola.
Exactly. Drexel, I'll tell you a nice story. I've seen Dr. Meadows get in front of a group and ask the question of the group. Say, stand up if you've ever attended Pensacola State College. Stand up if you've ever had a family member attend Pensacola State College. Stand up if you've ever attended an event at Pensacola State College. And before it's over, every person in the group is standing up. Point is, Pensacola State College touches lives, as you said, not just in this little island, but throughout the community and really throughout the whole region. It's a very important institution.
And the foundation helps that reach get out, and that's awesome. And so, Mike and Aaron, thank you so much for joining us today on the program. I'd love for you to come back and we'll explore this a little bit more in the future.
Would love to.
We would love to come back.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
All right, thank you. When we come back, PSC helps reach out into the community in a fun and artistic way. Welcome back. And as you can see from the calendars, a lot always going on with Pensacola State College. And here to talk to us about some of the things that are happening at the college and coming up, Pensacola State College President Dr. Ed Meadows. And welcome first.
Well, thank you, Drexel. It's good to be back.
It's always nice to have you here. One of the most exciting events I like that's coming up soon is the Skills USA competition. It's hard to believe almost a year's already passed since we talked about this last and since it was here. Tell me a little bit about what we're looking forward to this year.
Well, we just completed the regional, Pensacola State hosted the regional competition for Northwest Florida, and this will be our third year to host the state level competition. And Skills USA is an organization that actually has emanated from what used to be called VICA, and Skills USA clubs are high school and college. They are composed of advisors, teachers, and of course students that are majoring in vocational and technical fields, and these fields can range from anything from carpentry, drafting and welding, all the way to computer science, cybersecurity, nursing, and other health science professions. We will begin the third state competition here. We'll have over 3,000 people here, 3,000 students competing, plus their parents and teachers and advisors, beginning the last weekend in April, going through the first week of May. And we'll have the electric car competition first. That is sponsored by Gulf Power.
That's always a lot of fun.
That is, certainly, and Mr. Nichols from Gulf Power always does a great job with that, and I believe that's his true passion with electric cars. But it is a race for how long you can keep your car going and how many laps you can make within a specific period of time.
Right.
So that kind of kicks it off. But the good thing about it is that our local students have done very well. The first, second, and third are bronze, silver, and gold medal winners get to go to national competition in Kansas City. And some of those students actually get to go abroad to world competitions. And of course, what better to have on your resume when you're looking for, a high-level paying technical job than to have won a medal at the regional, state, or national, or international level with Skills USA.
So this is not just a program about a competition, which is great because, like you said, it does a lot for their future. But these students that do participate in this are learning the skills that will take them from the classroom into the workforce.
And not only the technical skills for the hundreds of different occupations there are, but also there are competitions in leadership, in communication, and team building. So it teaches, Skills USA teaches students more than just the technical skills, but they also teach them the soft skills that are necessary with good work habits and, of course, good communication. And that puts us, right in the middle of workforce development.
Right.
And of course, one of the primary purposes of the Alabama college system for all 28 colleges is workforce development, and so not only are we in the thick of it at the state level with Skills USA and hosting that in partnership with many of our industry partners here in the community in the Chamber of Commerce and Tourism, but we're also doing our share in doing the training for an emerging industry in Northwest Florida, the aerospace industry.
And that's exciting, and we're about halfway through our time together right now, so I want to jump into that because there's a lot of buzz about the movement of the aerospace industry into our area. Tell us how Pensacola State College is fitting into that puzzle.
Well, as most people know by now, STO Aerospace, which currently has operations in Mobile, is expanding to Pensacola with initially over 300 jobs that will be located at the airport. And in concert with Laughlin and George Stone, which is part of the secondary school systems of Santa Rosa and Escambia counties, Pensacola State will be offering training in what's called A&P, which is airframe and aerospace mechanical certificate and associate degree programs. And there are opportunities for other customized training that we would be doing for that particular industry. And that industry, of course, is a first cousin or maybe even closer kin to the new industry in Mobile, Airbus. And of course, Northwest Florida expects to get within probably 3 to 4 years some primary, secondary, and tertiary suppliers to Airbus. And that also is going to provide Pensacola State an opportunity to build upon the A&P program to furnish workers that hopefully, even if they're not working for a supplier here in Florida, they'll be trained and commute to Mobile to work at the plant there. So we'll be working on a lot of different new degree programs to supply skilled workers for the aerospace industry. Probably gearing up as early as early next year, and then building upon that over the next 5 years.
And these are good paying jobs. These are good jobs for students who are headed to Pensacola State College to get the training. This is a good move for them.
I think it's an excellent move, and it will be as competitive as the allied health science and nursing careers that we offer at the Warrenton campus in terms of pay, and perhaps even more so. Some of these jobs pay beginning $60,000 to $80,000 a year for and you know, one of the things I want to talk about, Drexel, just for a moment, there's nothing wrong with importing talent to Pensacola because those people pay taxes, they buy houses, they buy groceries, they buy automobiles. So we have a dual responsibility to grow our own from within our current population, but also to attract those workers to live in our community so that they can add to the quality of life and enjoy the quality of life in Northwest Florida.
Well, and when we have those imported talent pools that you're talking about that come to this community, they bring some new ideas sometimes, and they certainly bring support for the community and for the college as well. Certainly. All right. So anything else before we leave today that you would like to chat about that's coming up at Pensacola State College or that's going on right now that's exciting? It's always buzzing on this campus. Well, the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship has just launched a new concept where we have a multi-workstation concept where in one room we can have as many as 6 or 8 different entrepreneurs starting up 6 or 8 different companies. And certainly that is economic development at its finest moment, where you have all of those people that usually work from home. They're now together so that they can bounce ideas off of one another, and they have a place to go and be with other like minds as they grow their companies down at our downtown center right across from the Chamber of Commerce. And that is a partnership with the Chamber of Commerce. UWF is coming on board with a new project to hopefully add some seminars and workshops that will be of interest to people that want to start new companies. And
So that it's nice to be among all of those creative thinkers down at the downtown center.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Sorry to throw you that curveball, but you know what? You swung at it and you hit it, and it was all good. So thank you so much for coming by and visiting us. We always enjoy it.
It's a pleasure to be here, Drexel.
Good, thank you. When we come back, we will take you to a super event here on the campus of Pensacola State College. Step onto the campus of Pensacola State College on any given day and you'll find members of the student body and the faculty and even the community participating in a variety of ventures that support the educational efforts of this college. Step onto the PSC campus on a cool Saturday in January and you will find people standing in line to buy hand-thrown pottery bowls and then to have those bowls filled with soups prepared by some of the area's finest chefs. They're not just doing it because they're hungry. They are participating in a very important event that is hosted by Pensacola State College. It's called Fill-A-Bowl. Fill-A-Bowl benefits Manna Food Bank, and in doing so, benefits thousands of families in our community.
Well, this is one of 1,400 bowls that the folks here at Pensacola State College actually have thrown for us. This bowl represents actually a whole week's worth of food for someone who's hungry.
I make the bowls, and I've made the bowls for 7 years now. And I started out with about 400, and that was the first year, and now I'm up to probably about 1,400. It's important because I look at these bowls, and every bowl is 30 bucks. Every bowl is a bag of groceries.
$30 buys a bag of groceries, and you know that hunger is a very deep problem here in Escambia and Santa Rosa counties. Last year, we provided food to 42,000 people. And of that, about 38% of them were children, 15% were senior citizens. And so without this kind of event, Manna could not provide food every day to the hungry.
I had some people the other day came into the room and accidentally broke a couple bowls. And I'm just standing there looking at them with almost tears in my eyes because I know it's 2 bowls. It's, 60 bucks. That sounds, I'm a big emotional dude, but that affects me.
And I have to tell you that this wouldn't happen without Pensacola State College. The college is a remarkable community partner with so many nonprofits in the community. And honestly, it's a blessing to the hungry and to Manna to have Pensacola State College involved in this event. We're just so appreciative. And honestly, tens of thousands of people have been helped because of Pensacola State College through these events.
This is just another terrific way of giving back to the community. That's a lot of what the State College does.
And on that note, we'll call it a wrap for this edition of Pensacola State Today. I'm Drexel Gilbert. We're so glad that you've joined us. We'll see you next time.